Sweet mother of mercy, I did not realize how many different techniques there were. What's up, guys? All Pencil here, and here we are to do a ranking of all the cursed techniques and abilities of Jujutsu Kaisen. And, Gege, you just be making stuff, huh? Like you just be doing things to do things. Like, gosh darn it, Gege, why are there so many? But considering how much time this is gonna take, let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Editing me, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? Zach with a pencil here. And fun fact, it's a little bit further back than usual, but I got it on me, and I keep it on me at all times. And I'm gonna need it, because sweet mother, jeez, why are there so many, bro? What in the world? But yeah, there are a bunch, and I mean a big bunch of cursed techniques. And we are going to I'm gonna do my best to cover all of them. I mean, this ain't too bad. It's a bit more intimidating at first glance, but hopefully this covers everything. Let me see. Imperfect. We do have multiple variations of some characters, which were actually not, like, some things work for some things don't. But I think everyone important here, as long as the Culling Games characters are here. Here's Uro, there's Reggie, there's my boy Ryu on here. Where's my boy Ryu? Where is he? Where is he? Why is he here but not Ryu? Where's Ryu? Okay, Ryu's here. Heaven. We're all good. So we're going to be ranking the cursed techniques. And in the case of some characters who do not have cursed techniques, sweet mother of mercy. In the case of some characters who do not have cursed techniques, but have abilities, we'll be covering their abilities. Not everyone has a cursed technique, and some characters will even be used as substitutes for other things. Like if a character is a repeat or has some other variation of it, I will rank them too. And notably, the potency of their technique will vary. A whole bunch of that. It'll be more simple when I actually get into it, so let's hop right into it. But before we hop into it, tricked you. We have 6 tiers here today. We have number 1, the juiciest, the fattest, the thickest, the peak of the verse. These techniques are like just, they up there. They up there beyond belief. Like these, seriously, give this technique to pretty much anybody and they're going to do good. Give them cursed energy, give them the technique, or in some cases, maybe you don't give them cursed energy, and they're going to be absolutely crazy. Best that the verse has to offer. Then you got these are super duper crazy techniques, but there are drawbacks. There are slight limitations. There's a little bit of hitches here and there, something that keeps them from being literally the peak of the verse. Then you have good. Like these are just good, solid, juicy techniques. Like you would like to have them. In real life, in verse, they're just solid techniques. They're good abilities. Nice enough. Then you have the okay ones. Like these ones are nice. They're fine. Once again, you wouldn't want to not have them. You would rather have these than not have a technique. And then it's kind of like you're kind of on the verge of nigh on wanting to not have a technique at all or like just not have to deal with this in any other way. But it's a technique. Better to have and not need than to need and not have. And finally, whack. These are techniques that you may as well just be better off not having. Like you may as well not want to have them at all. But let's see who we got to cover first. And this is a character who, she's a manager. Does she even have a technique? She's the older brother of the one from the Kyoto school. I got the Googler on me because I know there are a bunch of characters that I would not remember. Let me double check if she even has the technique or if I'm going to use her as a substitute. Let me see. That's the brother. I need the sister, not Arata. I need Akari. Thank you to Hakari Nita. Does she have a cursed technique? No. So yeah, she's just a random manager. I specifically remember she got done in by Haruta. I guess she has manager skill. I don't know, whack. Like, you don't want her because she doesn't have a technique. So she's probably going to be the benchmark for the bottom. I feel like if you have no technique, I feel like I'm looking at the wiki right now. She doesn't even have like any ability. Like she doesn't have symbol domain. She doesn't have barrier creation. Presumably she does have some of those, but like I got nothing. Her personality part on the wiki is 1 page. So yeah, I got nothing there. So her cursed technique is going to be on the bottom. And I know the dichotomy here is going to be crazy because we opened up with something whack, but we got to go to peak of the verse already. I'm sorry. In a verse that either is super duper slow or has of course, inaccessible. Like, I know it's kind of crazy. There's a wide spectrum. Literally being able to turn off other people's abilities, and not in like a, oh, it's easy to miss kind of way. Like there's another character who we're going to talk about, and we're going to use a representation of something that can also turn off abilities. But the way they do that is kind of tiny and narrow. It may not be the best. No, Jacob's ladder is gigantic, and it shuts off every technique. This thing is even capable of executing incarnated sorcerers. Like that kind of technique level. Like hypothetically, if Kenjaku, Big Daddy Janku, were to be hit by Angel's divine light, they're out of the narrative. They're just gone from the plot. Like, because their whole thing is run on their body hopping technique. So Angel has the capacity to neutralize the best of techniques. The only things that this may not work on are other things that have the ability to negate techniques. So like Inverted Spear of Heaven. That's it. Everything else is nigh on unstoppable. I'm going to put things above this, but even can I? Like, that's the thing. The ability to turn off every other ability is crazy. It's crazy. And here's the thing. The only reason I may put things above this is because you can have this technique and still lose. Like that's the thing. You can have this technique and still lose. Either A, you get hit before you can activate it, or B, you get hit after you activate it. And even the person who's shut down, like their technique is shut down, they can just hit you still. Like notably, all it does is shut down your techniques. You still need, put it in Divine then. Because there are some techniques, if you have them and you have them to the level you gotta have them at, you just win. Like you just straight up win. So I'm not, you know what? I'm gonna bump it down. I'm gonna bump it down. Mainly because I'm gonna put it at the top of Divine. It's probably gonna stick at the top of Divine. Because the ability to neutralize other techniques is too crazy. Give this to anybody with half decent reinforcement. Literally just slide this. I hate to say it, slide this straight, and I mean straight on a character like Yuji. They're pretty much unstoppable. Like they're not unstoppable, except for characters who have better reinforcement in speed and strength than Yuji. That's fantastic. Any ability in any series that allows you to ignore the power system or ignore the ability system, it's going to be an insane technique. Who knows? Maybe, depending on how Peak of the Verse shakes out, I may slide Angel and Jacob's Ladder right back into Peak of the Verse. But off its literal 2 showings in the entire narrative, it's already proven to me that it is up there as a technique. Is it okay? Is it meh? Is it okay? Is it meh? It's okay. It's okay. Arata's technique is specifically to stop things from getting worse. It's an unnamed technique, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. I don't believe... no. Not Jujutsu Sorcerer. Arata Nita. I'm pretty sure it's an unnamed technique. Abilities and powers. Overall skill. Okay. The technique is known as Painkiller. This technique allows Arata to stop existing injuries from getting any worse. Arata can't heal wounds, but he can stop bleeding and reduce the pain for anyone he applies it to. However, any injuries sustained after the technique's application are unaffected. So yeah, essentially, if you're already in pain and agony, it stops that. They'll just negate that. And you know what? It's a good... Here's the thing, right? I'm going to leave it in okay because it's a good support technique. But like in a world as actively dangerous as Jujutsu Kaisen, you do not want this as your technique. Like 9 out of 10 times. Like you're just gonna be getting hit. So like sure, it's nice that you'll be able to like stop. And I'm not even sure. Can you apply it to yourself? Like maybe if you can apply it to yourself, this can be useful for like longevity. But heavens forbid your opponent has like an actual offensive technique, and now that technique is useless. Because like, okay, you can stop the pain from me tearing your arm off, but your arm's still torn off. You're not getting that bad boy back. I think this is mainly a good support ability. And like in our world, it could be very, very useful depending on the limits of it. Like if you could pull up to a car crash and someone's like mutilated, but you can just stop, hammer time, and they would immediately stop, like all their pain and stuff like that would disappear. That'd be good. Like you would be good in every scenario but fighting. But like this is mainly a combat centric verse. I'd say in our world, this could arguably be a divine technique. Like you could get paid so much money for being able to just stop people's pain and stop things from getting any worse. Can you imagine if you could just run up to anybody with a terminal illness and just be like, bam, and then suddenly their terminal illness will just never get any worse? If it works like that, I'm not sure if it goes for any terminal. It says just, existing injuries. So like, is a terminal illness an injury? I don't know. But even still, just physical illnesses, you would be invaluable in numerous places. But like, for a combat technique, it's very reliant on you having someone else to use it on who can actually fight. Because if you yourself can't fight, it doesn't do much for you. Then, is this Kusakabe? Is that Kusakabe? Don't tell me that's Kusakabe, bro. He looks so ugly here. Is that Kusakabe? Is that the Kusakabe image? I pray that isn't the Kusakabe image for Kusakabe's sake. Hold on. I'm looking. I think that's Kusakabe. Why does he look like that? Ew, why does bro look like that? Kusakabe, my boy. How the person of this who made this tier list does not like Kusakabe. I'm scanning. Yeah, that is Kusakabe. I'm sorry, bro. I have no idea why they did you that dirty. But Shinra Kusakabe, not Shinra. Not Shinra, but Kusakabe. I'll put it in good. His it's just a weird looking image of him. Something about him just looks so wrong. But I'll put it in good. The simple domain into Bato sword drawing, the Moonlit sword style, I forget exactly what it's called. Let me double check. It is a solid enough technique. Once again, it's kind of in that area where once you're at Kusakabe's level with it, it's good enough. Like it'll help you survive scenarios. Like once again, it was somewhat able to block. Please, I can type, I swear. It was somewhat able to block the maximum Uzumaki, like a grade 1, like Kusakabe was able to use it in that way, which is really, really good. Like, Atsuya being able to pull that off at all is fantastic. Oh, he even looks ugly in the anime. Maybe Kusakabe just looks ugly. I don't know why I have... Oh, yeah, that's the image even used for him on the wiki. He just looks ugly, bro. I'm sorry. Kusakabe, you look whack, buddy. But, for the abilities... The Bato sword drawing is good, and Evening Moon sword drawing. Because we never got to see Evening Moon sword drawing, because, well, we never did. But for Bato sword drawing, a fast sword drawing technique that Kusakabe's blade and curse energy uses to rotate the blade around the curse energy, or vice versa, to increase its drawing speed dramatically, to make it the fastest EI sword drawing technique of the new Shadow style. So, it's essentially auto draw. It's what Miwa did. Like, if you get in her range without interrupting her footing, you get auto slash, which is nice. I mean, it's good enough, but if your opponent's bulky enough to eat your hits, this doesn't do anything. But I would say, since it is actually an offensive technique, I'm more willing to put it above Nita and keep it out of the okay tier. It may drop. I don't think it's not going higher at all. But still, the ability to just, and then someone gets in your range and you're immediately cut, that's good. But a lot of characters we've seen in JJK can just like have blades bounce off them if their reinforcement is good enough. Even a character like Nanami, a grade 1, has like a sword swung on him by a relatively strong person, and it just bounces off. It doesn't even cut him. It doesn't even cut his clothes. So like, if you simply do not have the raw physical stats to do anything, if your curse energy levels are low, or even if you, let's say you give you the best curse energy levels, one casual slash by somebody in your range is, it's still not the best. It's better than something that literally has no combat utility, but it's not that good. So we're going to put Kusakabe up here. Inverse. Yeah, I said it. What are you going to do to stop me? No, but yeah. But then again, do I have Inverse in the same tier? Do I need a tier between good and divine? I think I do. I'm gonna add another tier. Add a row above. No, it needs to be a different color. It can't be yellow. We'll do this color. Because why not? It's disrupting the list, just like he disrupts the verse. Let's see. We'll do great. Although I'm going to do great, because these two can't be next to each other. I'm sorry. But Inverse is actually really, really cracked. Like, notably, we don't get to see the upper limits of it. Like, it gets figured out pretty easily by Megami, and then Itadori and him are able to wombo combo it. But, like, that ability is really crazy when you think about it. The fact that it can just neutralize and reverse a whole bunch of damage on impact, it's really, really good. Because most people aren't going to think like, oh, all my strongest attacks aren't doing anything to him. That must mean that he's inversing all the damage I'm doing. No, most people are going to hit him and be like, oh, all my attacks aren't doing anything. His reinforcement must be crazy. Like, that's what you would naturally be led to assume. Even Yuji, who isn't the smartest in like general scenarios, he's a really smart combat guy. And even he was falling for it at first. I can see how this, at least on a defensive level, is really, really useful. Offensively, it's not the best. That's why I'm going to keep it like out of maybe do I even slide it into good? Because here's the thing. Actually, you know what? Especially since I don't like this color. We're deleting the extra tier. But I'll admit this. The technique is only good defensively. It's only good defensively. If you yourself don't have the reinforcement or the abilities to actually deal damage, I mean, you're a really, really good tank. But heavens forbid, like, one of their attacks gently grazes you while you have inverse activated. Suddenly you're taking massive amounts of damage. Like, remember, all it takes is a little, like, a rabbit grazing against them could have, like, done insane damage to them if all things went wrong. So, like, it is a technique that you need, like, a Giga Brain to use to its maximum. But I'd say even casually, no one is going to just hit you softly. No one's going to, like, punch at you max speed and then stop and lightly tap you unless they already figured out your technique. And this is a technique that I feel like you don't even need to use the showing your hand Jujutsu property. Like, you don't need to whip that out on anybody. You never have to tell anybody that. And you'll be able to wear most people down in a war of attrition because they just wouldn't be able to figure it out. So inverse, a really, really solid technique despite being on a random of a character. Like, absolutely random. I don't even remember this guy's name. I remember Hazanoki's name. I don't even know why I remember Hazanoki's name, but I don't remember this guy's name. Hold on. I'm Googling so many of these early characters. But let me see. Claw guy. I just know his ability has to do with claws. But let me even put in Hazanoki. I'll put in Hazanoki and then look at the people who he's affiliated with. But yeah, I think literally all he has is claws. But can I put that up? Okay. I'll swap it. I'll put him down in meh. Because once again, in a verse that's all about combat, like this has no utility in combat. Like none. Like I guess if you can use it on yourself, it has utility there. But your opponent's just gonna keep punching you. They can reopen your old wounds that have now been stopped. Like those are still issues there. So I'm gonna, unfortunately, as much as I was trying to gas this up for our real world purposes, like, you know, combat-based verse like Jujutsu Kaisen, you really don't want an ability like this. So it's gonna be meh. But Claw Guy here, whose name is... Please. Oh, this article is a stuff. I will never be able to find this guy's name. I will never be able to find this guy's name. He you know what? His name is so irrelevant, I don't actually care. So, he has claws. Okay. I don't like, well, it's better than nothing. Like, he can use it to climb walls easier than most people. I guess he can scratch you up. Meow. Like okay, that doesn't do anything too crazy. Unfortunately, Mr. Clawman over here isn't going to get many bonus points for a basic cutting ability. When there are a bunch of other characters who can, like, this guy has auto cutting. He can cut you while not having to worry about most of your attacks. She can cut you after negating your technique. Like, this guy can just cut you. It's better to have than nothing. They can probably be used offensively and blocking defensively, but just regular claws, not the best. This guy's technique. I'll actually put him above Kusakabe. I, once again, forget his name. I remember he's part of the Hay, and he's one of the many victims of Maki. But this guy's just an earthbender, right? Like, that's really, really good. Like, hold on, let me double check. Let me go through the Zenin clan. I know I can, unlike Ridgey's group, I know I can just immediately go to the wiki and look up the Zenin clan. So Zenin, not Xenon. We're not reading Black Clover. There we go, the Zenin family. Let me see. Who is this guy? Not Ogi. Chojuro. So Chojuro actually has, like, a really solid ability. Like, Earth Arms, Chojuro's technique allows him to manipulate the Earth to some degree. By touching the ground and activating his ability, Chojuro created 2 giant stone arms to attack Maki, clasping her between these hands. She was easily able to break out, surprising Noabuki, who believed she shouldn't be able to move at all after being hit. Dude, that's massive Earth. All you have to do is touch the ground and you get, like, gigantic Earth hands? I mean, it's not too crazy, but it's better than just claws. Like, you can probably make the Earth Hands have claws that are now massive. Like, that's actually pretty good. I'd say it's even better than Kusakabe's technique. Because sure, while an all slice is really, really good, if your name isn't Maki and you get clapped by 2 slabs of Earth, it's going to do a lot of damage. And you can probably do a lot of technical stuff with it too. I'd say it's a pretty solid technique. Is it crazy? Is it up there to the insane degree of something like I just ignore? I mean, you know what? I'll even put Chojuro above Inverse here. Awasaka, I think. I'll put Chojuro above him just because, like, the offensive and defensive utility of this is good. Sure, we don't know the exact attack potency of these hands because Maki, like, no-sold it, but also Maki is a heavenly restriction user. AKA, like, a top 10 character in the verse. I don't expect Chojuro to really whip that out. Give someone this ability and they have more cursed energy, like, gives just Sukuna this ability, and it goes absolutely crazy. Imagine the size of the Earth Hands he could make. Give it to Yuta, give it to anybody. This kind of ability would be crazy if cracked up. And on just a random old fodder, it's already 2 massive Earth Hands that, like, crush Maki, who's Goku-sized, in its palms. Like, it's really, really good. So I'm gonna have to actually give credit to Chojuro there. Maybe I do need that extra tier. Maybe I do need that extra tier. Choso, you're going to make me add that extra tier? I think Choso's going to make me add it. Because I feel like putting Choso's level of blood... Okay, yeah. Choso, you got it. You got it, Choso. We're going to... No, you cannot. No. Oh, no, I've messed up. I've messed up drastically. Please. All right, there we go. I think I fixed it. But let's add that tier. Add a row below. But what color? What color are we making this row? I think we already used all the good colors. I want to make it green. Make it. Let's make it gray. Just for the fun of it. For the fun of it, we'll make it gray. See, but now that yellow's bothering me. Oh wait, no, I made Divine gray. Ew, what was Divine? Was Divine purple? I don't even. My brain blinked already. Ew, you can't be yellow. We're gonna make you gray. There we go. Oh, these colors look so whack. I don't even like coloring, but these colors look so whack. But here we go. We're gonna do great. Choso's blood manipulation in particular is cracked. Because bro just doesn't run out. Like, essentially, like, ironically enough, substitute blood for just poison. That's all it is. Like, it is just straight poison. Like, because typically the reason I would put blood manipulation, and we'll even talk about this a little bit more when we get to Noritoshi Kamo, not Kenjaku, but, like, the modern one. But, like, I would put blood manipulation on average, like, maybe here. Because you have so much limited utility. If you just catch a blood manipulation user lacking, they aren't going to be able to leak out that much without, like, literally perishing. Like, I think Maki or Naoya even calls it out in the Sakurajima colony. Like, bro, you're just going to go. You're going to take yourself out. I won't even have to hit you if you're going to use that much. But Choso can literally, like, flood a battlefield. Like, he's flooded a whole subway corridor, if I remember correctly, in the battle with Naoya. And he can control it all. Like, once again, it's not like his control dilutes at all. If he's controlling massive amounts of blood, he can just use it and control it like a massive wave. And if it ever gets on you, he can control that too to slow you down. And on top of that, he has one of not the fastest, I wouldn't say maybe even top 5 fastest, but he does have a speed of sound attack. And in JJK, that's pretty impressive. Like, piercing blood is pretty crazy. And once again, if it manages to hit you, specifically from Choso, unlikely for most people, don't get a blood... I feel like your doctor would inform you this. If you ever do need a blood transfusion, make sure your blood types match. Because if they don't, your body's going to consider it a foreign substance and attack it. And it's going to lead to a mess for everybody. But Choso especially, he just has poison in his blood. So if he ever actually manages to hit you with anything, if you're not literally his daddy, like Kenjaku, guess what? You also get the casual poison effect that acts pretty quickly. Like, Uraume was being affected by the poison within minutes. And Choso can fight for more than minutes. And notably, piercing blood plus blood waves isn't the only way he can control it. He can also just amp himself. Like, make it so that he can nigh on follow Naoya, one of the fastest characters in the verse, with flowing red scale stack, and he can also just amp his defense by hardening blood around him, forming armor and shields. He can harden his blood and his fists and make those things extra hard for extra attack potency when he punches. The flexibility of blood manipulation, specifically in Choso's hand, is crazy. And considering he's revealed the ability to copy his brother's techniques and like use blood flow as like tunnels to create things for supernova, and also being able to show things like Wing King, like all of this is fantastic for Choso. It really shows that blood manipulation without the limitations of, you know, having to worry about running out of blood is fantastic. The only reason it's not a divine technique, and I'm going to leave it as probably like the king of great. I said you weren't divine. But the only reason I'm going to leave it there is specifically because its hacks is good, but not all too crazy. If you're durable enough to just tank it, like if you can tank it, block, or avoid all of Choso's hits, then he has really no way to deal with you. And blood manipulation, while it does have some decent defensive utility, it's not the best. Like, the only reason Yuji was so caught off guard when he punched Choso's ribs was because, like, he was already super duper fatigued and on the verge of collapse anyway. Most average people with above average, like, striking force or any sort of weapon will essentially be able to tear straight on through any blood manipulation reinforcement. And with that being the case, top that off with a water weakness too. Like, if you're in water, you can't control blood outside your body. I'm not sure if I can really put it up to divine up there with the crazy demons. Like, I'll just turn off your technique real quick. So blood manipulation is super duper solid, but not divine. Speaking of things that are not divine, you know what? Is this crazy? Is it weird? And you know what? I'm even gonna do this. Yeah, Kuroshi's kind of cracked. Like here's the thing. Remember, Kuroshi has two-ish. No, one. The original Kuroshi has one fight that we actually get to see, and it's against Yuta. And those reinforced cockroaches kind of go crazy throughout that entire encounter. Like, the fact that Yuta was actually forced to use RCT against Kuro isn't just for the fact that Kuro had relative stats, but, like, all of Kuro's abilities were actually pretty decently dangerous. Like, the massive amount of cursed reinforced cockroaches that would literally consume a person in seconds if they managed to get their hands on them. Top that off with the life blade that, when swung, not only acts as a traditional weapon that can be reinforced with cursed energy, but also fires out things that can pierce straight into the body of special grade level opponents. Like, Yuta is one of the bulkiest characters in the verse, and even he couldn't just no-sell the life-cleaving blade. Like, the things actually tore into him. And the thing is, they don't just, like, tear into you, they tear out of you as well. They're like buckshot, where it's not just internal damage that's gonna like tear straight through you cleanly. No, it's gonna rip out, nearly take your darn arm off. And remember when he used it on Uro, the second Kuroshi used it on Uro, and it still straight tore through her. And top that off with those abilities that like produce flashbangs, like the sack havers. Like, remember the little Kuroshi Saki bug boys, like, even they, when they were cut open, they caused like a blinding effect. Like, the versatility of Kuroshi is crazy. And now, notably, you could say it does require some prep time, because like, where does he get those cockroaches? But giving him that little bit of leeway, if he has that army of cockroaches, it's pretty good. It's pretty solid. And he can just use those for extra defense, extra offense, and a little bit of the munch. The only thing that kind of leaves Kuroshi lacking is that he doesn't really have any hacks. He's a very purely physically based fighter, and so is his technique. But hey, with his level of stats and his level of utility with that technique, being able to tear through one of the bulkiest characters in the verse is crazy. With just a casual swing of the life festering blade. That's pretty good. That may be me conflating Kuroshi's power. If you give it to an average individual, I still say it's good though. A whole wave of cursed energy reinforced cockroaches, plus multiple abilities that will tear you out from the inside, and on top of that, flashbangs. Like, that's a pretty solid ability. But I may, just because of the poison hacks that you could hypothetically get by any of your bloodstream coming in contact with Choso, I think I'll give Choso that. Because he can also create somewhat similar effects. And the versatility and viability of controlling, then again, this one's actually kind of, I may come back to this one. I'll see by the end of the tier list what I feel about this. Because blood manipulation does have really high peaks. But so no, I think, because you can get like pseudo flight and stuff like that. I think I'm gonna actually put Kuro above blood manipulation, which is crazy. Then, is Yuta included separately here? We can talk about mimicry separately if Yuta's included separately, or we may just have to, yeah, Yuta's included separately. So we have Rika. Do we talk about Rika as a technique or Rika's ability? I'm kidding. He's not that. Rika's not that good, but she is really good. Then again, like, what is Rika's teleportation manifestation? It really depends. It depends on what you think Rika's technique is. Because you think Rika's technique is just punching people, which is what she usually does. And it's kind of like, that's whack. Like, she can punch people too. Like, give that to the average person. But if we were to go with the idea that Rika's ability is like being able to manifest anywhere and like watch from this invisible world through portals and kind of just pop up whenever she feels like it, that's like a really good technique. Like, it doesn't, once again, it doesn't have the viability, or I guess you could also say it's like all of Rika's abilities include boundless cursed energy, appearing from anywhere, and being in another plane of reality, and also the massive size manipulation. So like, especially with Rika's bulk. But here's the thing though. Here's the thing. Current Rika doesn't seemingly have that flexibility when she's fully manifested though. That's the real question. If Rika doesn't have that ability when fully manifested, and she can only have it when she's being used as a conduit for Yuta, does it work as well? Because we literally see she can be held off by Kuro's cockroaches. And presumably, if Choso was controlling a wave of blood, she'd still have to deal with that. She can't just, like, raw power through it. But is that a testament to Rika's abilities or Rika's lack of battle IQ? I'm not sure. Teleportation is really, really nice. If you just want to say Rika's ability is teleportation with her immense strength, you may be able to argue it's, like, up here, right? Because if Rika comes out of a portal and punches you in the mouth, you're in a bunch of trouble. And give that to anybody, and that's pretty decent. Because the offensive and defensive utility behind that's really good. Because you can just, offensively, you can attack from anywhere, and defensively, you can disappear from anywhere. So, I'm going to be super generous to Rika and put her at the top of grade. You may be able to make a solid argument for sliding her into Divine, but I don't know. I still think this is a whole tier above. So, I'm gonna leave Rika at the top of grade. But, someone who is gonna slide straight up into Divine. Yo. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now Dagon and Disaster Water. Is it literally called Disaster Water? Is it called Disaster Ocean? Let me double check. But Dagon is he's kinda correct. Shout out to all the Ben 10 fans out there who also remember the name Dagon. But let me double check. What is his ability exactly called? Disaster Tides. So, here's the thing, right? Let me read Disaster Tides out to you real quick. This technique allows the user to manifest high volumes of water and control it using their cursed energy. It is incredibly versatile, allowing for use in all ranges. It can be used as a water shield for close and mid-range, and a large sweeping wave for long range. Its efficiency is dependent upon the cursed energy of the user and such. It can only be utilized by someone skilled in the use of cursed energy. If used to its full potential, this technique can produce water that far outclasses that of Max Elephant. The waves can be used as concussive force or overwhelm the opponent by mass and speed. So, the crazy thing is, think of Dagon's Disaster Tides as like blood manipulation or Kuro, or realistically kind of sort of like, depending on how you use it, even Rika plus, because the amount of water that Dagon can form, even just outside of his area of control, aka his domain, is crazy. It is absolutely insane the amount of pure juice that man can manipulate just in the world. And then top that off with a domain expansion that allows him to just have a sure hit of infinite Shikigami, which he can still likely use all the water that's in that ocean, by the way. We don't see him use it because Dagon's super inexperienced, but give Dagon's ability to anyone with a battle IQ, and you can pretty much replicate anything that any of these abilities lower can do on their own. But I'll take it through. Like, This is no ability. Punching, you can punch with Dagon's ability. For this one, stopping wounds, you can manipulate the water around your wounds and hold them shut. Sure, you wouldn't have the nulling effect, which is nice for painkiller, but still, not that best. The Claw Man, just make massive water claws. For Kusakabe's ability, sure, the instantaneous nature of the sword drawing is cool, but you literally have a sure hit domain expansion. Just use that. For Inverse, sure, you don't have the exact same, like, damage nullification or extreme neutralization of Inverse, but just surround yourself with, like, a massive water shield that covers you in a 360-degree angle. Most people won't be able to break through that, and you're completely good. For Chojo's technique, instead of just making 2 massive earth hands, make a billion massive water hands and just drown somebody. Like, that could go crazy. For blood manipulation, instead of controlling a wave of water, or no, a wave of blood, control massive multiple waves of water all at once and then drown your opponent. Sure, you don't get the poison effect, which is sad, but like, I don't know, a sure hit domain plus literally drowning somebody. Like, shove water into their nostrils and their mouth. Most people will drown. Like, that's just really, really good. Same thing for Kuroshi's cockroaches effect. Literally just pour water into somebody and then rip the water out of them. It's dark, it's violent, but like, you could do it. You could definitely do it. So you can mimic Kuroshi's effect. Most people, like, I know some people have trained themselves. Like, I know there's a whole like subsection of islands. There's a group of people on an island whose bodies have like evolved to the water to where they can see underwater, but most people can't actually see underwater. It burns their eyes, and presumably Dagon produces either regular or salt water if he really feels like it. He has a beach, so presumably the beach water at least is salt water. And I don't know about you, but if you ever actually tried looking more than like 5 feet in front of you underwater or in the ocean, like, I don't know, last time I did, I could barely see my own hands. So the blinding effect of the flashbangs can easily be replicated by just drowning somebody in water, and the massive number of cockroaches that tear through you, hey, why not just make it a sure hit domain that spawns and eats you the moment they spawn? I think that's a lot better. And even for Rika's teleportation ability, once again, most people wouldn't be able to see you coming if you drown them in a field of water and just swim at them. Because once again, this is all your cursed energy field. You're essentially drowning them in liquid cursed energy. You would be able to tell where they are by feeling where the water is going, but they wouldn't be able to tell where you are. So you just lunge in and punch them in the mouth, if need be, or just open domain. Like, really, the thing that pushes this up to the domain, what in the world? The thing that pushes this up to divine is the fact that this is the first technique we've covered that actually has a confirmed domain expansion that's really, really solid. And also, just water is super duper flexible. Like, heck, even in the real world, this would be a fantastic ability to have, because you can just produce endless water. It's really, really good. It has to be a divine technique. It's still not better than Angel's technique, because all Angel needs to do is go, and suddenly you don't have a technique anymore. So like, Angel's going to be super duper hard to clear out of that top spot of divine. For Druve, see, Druve has the massive Shikigami though, and them orbiting causes a domain effect, which neutralizes techniques. Here's the thing though. Here's the thing. The reason I'm gonna leave this, I could actually drop it down here. It really depends. Since we don't get enough of Druve or Yuta using Druve's technique to the same levels that Druve did, I'm not sure how quickly he can spawn that gigantic mole rat Shikigami. If he can't spawn it that quickly enough, it's not like the Shikigami technique, the Druve Shikigami technique at least, it's not like it gives you any extra defensive utility. This is the same issue I have with a lot of Shikigami technique. Like, sure, they can be meat shields, but they can be punched right on through, or just the user reaches you instead of going with the Shikigami will instantly be dispelled. So do I put it down here and good? You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put it above Awasaka. Let me make sure I'm saying that man's name right, because I feel like I'm gonna keep saying it more and more, because he's kind of like the metric. In my opinion, Awasaka, if that's his name, will likely be the middle of the list. Is your name actually Awasaka? Have I been saying your name wrong? Let me just look up inverse. Jiro Awasaka. See, I remembered his name. But with that being the case, I think just the lack of defensive utility or direct offensive utility you have with the Shikigami technique is a little bit whack. So thusly, I'm gonna leave him there. if you can get to him and execute him quickly enough, then you're good. Like, I think Chojuro could just clap his hands and Drew's done. Once again, we don't know. Because, like, Yuta one-slashed, insta-executed that man. Like, and then Yuta has average output. Like, Yuta doesn't actually hit that hard. Like, once again, he's probably, like, a bit relative, if not just a bit above, like, Demon God Yuji in terms of output. Which is still very strong, but it's not, like, the craziest thing. So, a good little cheek clap from Chojuro made his wipe out Drew. A piercing blood to the head, that's done. Kurushi, the life festering blade, that's done. Rika coming out of nowhere and punching you in the mouth, that's done. Drowning and/or technique negation, those are also just better. So yeah, unfortunately, Drew suffers from a strong lack of screen time. We know he's a bad matchup for Kurushi because presumably Kurushi can't reach him as easily as long as the Shikigami are out. But like, I still wouldn't. I think that's more matchup specific. I'd still say Kurushi's technique on average is better. I mean, Esso and Ketchisu just do have blood manipulation, right? Like this isn't anything crazy. Let me see. Blood manipulation. Oh wait, so let's show us this technique. Let me look. Okay. Let me peep them real quick. Let me peep. Wing King. Bring me to Wing King. Esso's rot technique. All right. Let me look up the rot technique real quick. Let me see what that like. Let me see what that like real quick. Abilities and powers. The rot technique. Esso's innate technique grants him corrosive blood that can poison and decompose his target. It also grants him the ability to reshape and manipulate his blood using special techniques. Esso's blood is said to be more effective than Ketchi's. Okay. So I mean, it's decent enough. I mean, it's nice enough. Like once again, the big issue is like if you're. I put it above here. I'll put it above. I feel so bad for Kusakabe. I feel like Kusakabe is just gonna keep sliding lower, but. The thing with the rot technique is that I think it does have to pierce you. I think you do need that piercing effect. And a lot of the abilities here in one way or another would negate. Would it? Do I want to slide him lower? I'm not sure. I want to leave Drew there. But the thing with the rot technique is that it doesn't have the same. I mean, it does have a good flexibility though. But like the upper limits of Ketchi's is what really limits this technique. If it has the same flexibility as blood manipulation, but it's like not blood manipulation, then I guess you could put it higher. But I feel like the rot technique, it's also just not fast enough. Like it rots and decomposes your body, but like Nobaru was just a regular person with some cursed energy reinforcement, and she was able to tank it for a while. So I'm not sure if the rot technique really is that effective. So I'm gonna leave it to that. Let's see, the Finger Bearer. They just have basic cursed energy moveset. Actually, you know what? I'd say low-key, I put it right here because the Finger Bearers, like, they have like cursed energy arrows and stuff like that. Like they can actually launch out ranged projectiles and stuff like that. And I'd say just having a ranged projectile is really, really good. Like it's better than this. Like it can pierce you and stuff like that. And same thing with Kusakabe. He looks so ugly. I actually don't like looking at him. Like something about this image of Kusakabe is so ugly, bro. I really don't like this. But with it being the case, I do think like literally just the Finger Bearers cursed arrows is good. That's it. Like that. Nothing else above that is anything special. But having a range technique, or realistically, they should be able to use it at close range too. So it's solid enough. I'm gonna leave it there. Gaku Ganji's amp technique. I'm gonna bump Kusakabe down to okay because I don't like his face. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I think the big issue is though, if Gaku Ganji doesn't have an instrument on him, I'm not sure if you can just use it with his voice. What is he gonna be able to do? Like he can't strum a guitar if he doesn't have a guitar. So if you catch a user of his technique lacking, like I guess they're stuck out of luck. But if they have the guitar, it's nice, but it wasn't even able to defeat that one random dude that Gojo one tap. Then again, Gojo one taps a lot of characters. But the fact that it wasn't able to do anything really against him, and it's just a regular sound-based technique with those special hacks, it just releases sound as cursed energy. I'm not sure. It's okay. It's nice to have. If you could use it just by yelling, I think that would be better. But I do think you need an instrument. I would, if you didn't need an instrument, I'd probably put it at the bottom. You know what? Let me double check the wiki. Gotta always check the wiki. I have it open. I might as well. Gaku Ganji. What is his? Let me make sure I'm not misspeaking. For all -2 Yugaku Ganji fans out there, let me make sure I'm not misrepresenting your favorite character. Let me see. Powers and abilities. Please give me the ability. Innate technique. Yoshinobu Gakuganji's technique uses his body as a sound amplification device, amplifying melodies he plays in his electric guitar and launching it in waves of cursed energy. So yeah, it seems like he needs the electric guitar, which is not really anything valuable. Like, if you need the guitar, you can't use anything else. I'll put it at the top of okay, because you're likely going to keep the guitar on you at all times, but still, nothing too crazy. Oh, golly gee willikers, fellas, that's crazy. You're telling me the ability that allows you to develop an immunity or at least a super duper good resistance to every other ability in the verse is a divine technique? That's wild. That's bonkers, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Maharaga's adaptation. I couldn't even say it. Maharaga's adaptation technique is crazy. Like, actually insane. Notably, the only issue with it, if you are not bulky enough to eat the first hit, or heaven forbid the first hit is a hacks hit that's supposed to one-tap you, you lose. Like, here's the thing, you would have to make the argument that Maharaga's adaptation technique also comes with the automatic regen. If it does come with the automatic regen, that could be a solid argument for Peak of the Verse. Because, like, this is, but then again, you just have to slide her up. I feel maybe does she go back into Peak of the Verse? I feel like some of y'all have been yelling at me that she needs to go in Peak of the Verse because Chris technique negation is so cracked. I think I was judging her too harshly by the idea of, like, oh, you need reinforcement to fight her that. But just essentially turning everything into a neutral fighting ground, I think that does deserve Peak of the Verse. I'm going to put her back up there. Maybe my mind will change eventually. But I think Peak of the Verse is up there. The only reason I wouldn't put Maharaga in Peak of the Verse is that if you get one shot, your technique is worthless. And, like, give this to a regular dude and, like, their head gets blown off. It's worthless. But if you get this crazy super regen and the ability to adapt to every single technique that's used on you as long as the wheel can turn in time, that's really, really good. But another thing that's going to keep it out of Peak of the Verse is the fact that the wheel does seemingly need multiple spins to fully adapt to everything. Like, it's not an instant adaptation. It's not like you get hit once, you heal, you've adapted. You do need a couple hits for the wheel to appropriately adapt. So I'm going to put it in Divine because it can literally just adapt to every single technique beneath it. Now that phenomena adaptation is just way too good. It's so, like, it's such a hard thing to beat. Like, I don't even know how you would beat it. Like, that's how good it is. It's just a crazy, insane technique. Super duper wild. Speaking of crazy, insane technique, super duper wild. If there are no cursed spirits, you can't do anything. And remember, you need to whoop the cursed spirits yourself first. If I were to hand this technique to you, you better hope you can beat some fly heads, because that's all you're getting. You don't get all too much with cursed spirit manipulation on its own. However, if you were to be given, like, say, if I were to hand you this technique, if you were to be given it, no restrictions, don't hold bars, and you automatically got everything that they have, this is a crazy technique. This is an absolutely, like, nigh on Peak of the, like, there are some things that are just better than it, but, like, that's crazy, especially because you get to use the abilities of whatever cursed spirits you have. And even just some of those we saw, the concept manipulator, the one with its own innate domain, the rainbow dragon, the Toji curse, like, those four alone are cracked in of itself. A 4D space, an innate domain, insane durability, and concept manipulation. Oh, that's crazy. And those are 4 of, like, the thousands that they have. And even just spamming you with a bunch of fodder. Like, heck, look at the catfish technique. Or the catfish curse that Kenjaku had. The ability to just make somebody fall and then drown them with a octopus into doing that. Like, the fact that you can just wombo combo one off of each other. Like, notably, if I'm Kenjaku or Geto, I'm never letting my opponent think. I'm just going to keep hitting them. Especially considering I can soak them in my own special grade level curse energy and just make them even better. Yes, even random fodder, I will boost up and keep throwing it at your head, and then you just lose. Like, legitimately. Curse spirit manipulation, when used at its best, even when used not at its best, just the way Geto and Kenjaku use it is a divine technique. You can once again kind of mimic every single thing beneath you. Need nothing? Need to punch somebody in the mouth? You can do that. Need to stop the damage, I suppose? Hit him with a curse spirit. I don't know. Claws, there's probably a curse spirit you have with claws. Up, you need a sword. There's probably a curse spirit that has something to do with a sword, or at least a sharp blade. You need sound. There's probably a curse spirit that deals with sound. You need the ability to poison your enemy. There's probably a curse spirit that can poison your enemy. You need projectiles. Oh, you got projectiles. You need the ability to negate all damage. Shoot, just use a whole bunch of curse energy. Not curse energy. Use a whole bunch of curse spirits as shields and let them all get fodderized. Up, you need Shikigami. Oh, we got infinite Shikigami. Oh, you need big old earth hands. You can probably make something that has big old earth hands or whip something out. Choso, you need the ability to manipulate the battlefield, poison your opponent, all that good stuff. You can do all that too. You need to fly, do that too. Kurushi, oh, got a bunch of little curse energy reinforced cockroaches. I have curse energy reinforced curse spirits. Come catch this work. You need to peer out of a portal and punch me. Okay, that's a little bit much, but still, just get spammed by curse spirits and you're never gonna leave that portal. I'll send them in the portal with you. You want to drown me? Drown this endless sea of curse spirits. Like, legitimately. The adaptation technique. Oh no, you've adapted to one technique. Oh wait, have you? Because you're already getting hit by the second one, or the third one, or the fourth one, or the fifth one, or the thousands that I have at my disposal. Heaven forbid I actually have special grades in my possession, and then you're getting slammed by multiple special grade techniques. You're hit by 10 special grade techniques before you ever adapted to the first one. Like, dog, you are not beating me. Like, crazy. The only reason it's going to be beneath Peak of the Verse is because, once again, technique negation. And there are some techniques that, despite the versatility and viability of curse spirit manipulation, they're just better. They're just that degree better. So we're going to leave curse spirit manipulation up in divine. Did this guy even have a technique? Did this brother even have a technique? Back to the Zenin clan. Show me the truth of the Zenin clan. Oh, Zenin, show yourself to me. Jeez, how far do I have to go? There we go. This guy's... I guess this guy wasn't even a Zenin clan member because he is not showing up on the wiki. The wiki dicky. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, I just can't find this guy's name. I don't think he had a curse technique, because remember, he was the leader of the... Oh, Nobuki. Nobukai? Did you have any abilities? He's the strongest member of the Kukuru. No member of the Kukuru possesses an innate technique, and they're the lower branch of the Hei, but they're subject to grueling and trading right... Yeah. So he's just a sword fighter. Whack! I mean, it's good to be a good sword fighter, but, like, you don't got a technique? You ain't getting the stats, boy. Get your behind out of here. So, yeah, he whack. Wow! Wowzers! Biggity bonkers, ladies and gentlemen. You mean to well, okay, maybe not. No, yeah, obviously, we'll use this as a representation of specifically Gojo's curse techniques combined. We'll use this as... Oh, what the heck? We'll use this as the 6 eyes plus the limitless. You're unstoppable. You are literally the peak of the... Like, I'm literally this close to making a Gojo tier. Like, straight up. The ability's stupid. Hollow purple. Red. Blue. Unlimited void. Like, the neutral limitless alone. The neutral limitless alone. Remove every other technique. Neutral limitless alone is so good it would be in Peak of the Verse on its own. But not only are you basically untouchable unless your opponent has a domain, but also you have the ability to just hit people with massive disintegrating energy blasts. You have the ability to repel people at massive speeds. You have the ability to attract people at massive speeds. The ability to propel yourself at massive speeds. And also, you'll just never run out of curse energy. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Like, it's just not unstoppable. That combo is just too chef's kiss. It's too scrumdiddlyumptious. I'm sorry. It's too cracked. It's too cracked. It's literally space manipulation down to the atomic level with cursed energy. And Unlimited Void also attacks your soul, because I guess it does. It's stupid. Like it is legit just stupid. It literally body bags every single thing on this list except for maybe Jacob's Ladder. But guess what? You can teleport with the Limitless. You can teleport with the Limitless and avoid Jacob's Ladder entirely. Just teleport above it as you notice it coming towards you, because you can see the cursed energy collecting in your opponent, and then hit them with the Hollow Purple when they're off guard. They're cooked. They're simply cooked. Absolutely. Gojo's technique is just chef's kiss. Way too crazy. I literally think that it may be the strongest. Like, I'll see. Well, there's one more. There's one more that may be more mighty than the Limitless in the 6 eyes. Just maybe. But his technique is we'll say his technique is 4 arms plus tail. It would look super duper ugly on anybody else, but like, it's a nice technique. Like, it's nice enough. Unironically, like, you essentially become a Tetraman with a Lepidopteran tail. For my Ben 10 fans out there who forgot the official species names, you become 4 arms with Stinkfly's tail. In flight. You know, honestly, I'm not going to put this at the bottom of good, am I? For my own sanity, I'm not going to put him any higher. he slid up way too high to begin with. But yeah, I'm going to put Grasshopper Kun at the top of okay. Like, he doesn't actually have a technique. He does not. But having 2 extra limbs, really 3 extra limbs with the tail and the ability to fly, that's really, really solid. I hate that I have to say that, but it's true. It's true. It's just a really, really solid technique. This guy had 1 Shikigami. It has the same issue that I have with every Shikigami technique. If you're just a Shikigami user, why do I even bother to engage with the Shikigami if I can just reach you? It wasn't even a big Shikigami anyway. It's meh. Helicopter Man. I'm not looking him up, but I mean, freeform flight plus the ability to adjust the length of your blades and their levels of steel in terms of durability. Like, don't sleep on Helicopter Man, bro. Like, he's kind of great. I'm really gassing up the Helicopter Head guy, yeah. What has my life become? But no, straight up, the Helicopter guy is kind of cracked. He is kind of cracked in that stupid way. Like, it doesn't make sense. It does make sense though. Like, legitimately, just imagine you could put. Don't think of it as a helicopter. Don't think of how stupid it looks. Don't think of the man just wearing a helicopter hat. Think of the fact that this is a helicopter hat that is strong enough to tear through concrete, that allows you to fly. Like, just flight alone in JJK, a verse where very few characters can actually fly, is really, really useful. You can just get out of the range of most of these abilities. Like, I can't slide him higher. Can I slide him higher? Make a genuine. You can make a genuine argument. He's right there. Because honestly, those helicopter blades go crazy. Is he better than an Earthbender though? I mean, can you hit him though? He could probably, if he can tear through concrete, he can likely tear through those Earth hands. He can probably tear through those Shikigami. I mean, inverse is really nice, but it's solely a defensive technique. The range on those cursed spears is good, but it's not that good. And same thing with Rot. I think he's at the top of good. Oh, this feels so weird. I'm at the top of good. I'm gonna leave him there. Helicopter guy's gotta help. This simultaneously hurts me, but it makes me laugh. But let's see. Kashimo. He who knows? Maybe once he finally gets a curse technique, he'll be up here. Maybe. After a billion years, he may finally be at the peak of the verse. Like all the Kashimo fans, myself included, want him to be. But right now, I'll put him... But the thing is, though, I will put him at the top of great. Because even though technically he doesn't actually have a curse technique, for one, but like his cursed energy trait is really, really good. Because unless you are like a pure projectile spammer like this guy or maybe even this guy, if you just hit Kashimo, charges are going to be placed on you. And if Kashimo hits you, charges are going to be placed on you. And I think, once again, it was stated as low as 4 charges is all it takes for a lightning bolt to come out. And it is literally a can't miss attack without a domain. That's pretty hard. And it can tear through. This is a bolt that can tear through someone with infinite cursed energy. Like that is a level of power that's nigh on unbeatable. Like, you could make, if you could just use the lightning bolt from start, like if you just had the can't miss attack from rip, then it would like straight up be up here. But the fact that it does require some hits, like Dagon could just drown you. Dagon could just drown you overall. And then with his cursed energy trait, that would actually be even worse for Kashimo, because he's going to electrocute himself or burn through all his cursed energy. Maharaga, if you throw in the automatic regen with the adaptation, you hit him with one lightning bolt, scrumdiddlyumptious. It adapts. You hit it again with a second lightning bolt, scrumdiddlyumptious. It adapts even easier this time, and then you're not doing any damage to it ever again. And then for Cursed Spirit Manipulation, you just get spammed by a million cursed spirits. Sure, your lightning bolts and your cursed energy technique may slow some of them down, but it's not going to slow all of them down. You will be overwhelmed eventually by this. And obviously, I mean, ironically enough, you can make a pretty solid argument that Kashimo is good against someone like Hana, because his technique is never active anyway. But in comparison to, I need to hit you a couple times for my lightning bolt to go off, versus I hit you with this beam of light and you don't have a technique anymore, I'm going to go with beam of light. You don't have a technique anymore. And the lightning bolt would literally never reach Gojo because of the neutral limitless. So yeah, is this better than everything beneath it? Yeah, if Rika were to come in and punch him, lightning bolt. If Kurushi were ever try to land a hit on him, something's going to get lightning bolted. If Choso, I mean, Choso could, ironically enough, Choso could kind of be a hard counter to Kashimo. But Choso would probably get stun locked. But blood manipulation in particular, you can make an argument is above. But like, I'm going to, that can't miss attack plus that level of attack potency, I'm going to put at the top of great. Here's where we get controversial. Yeah, we'll put him there. And I know you are looking at me like, what? Pencil. I know a bunch of y'all are like, hey, and a bunch of, I know the Akari fans specifically are about to be like, okay. Now you listen here on Funny Pencil Man. Why is my Chadley gambling king only in good? And why is he beneath the helicopter man? But now, hear me out. What does Akari's technique actually give you 9 out of 10 times? Like, think about it. What does it actually give you? No. What does it do 9 out of 10 times? Because it gives you an amazing benefit. Like, infinite curse energy, fantastic. But, like, if Akari's not using domain, what does it give you? I can tell you what it gives you. Nothing. Like, it doesn't do, like, to the point where the doors and the balls, I don't even think the balls were used. I think it was literally just the doors. The doors were used on Yuji once, and they were kind of ineffective. I mean, they locked them in place, but they didn't really do much. And Akari doesn't even use them against Kashimo, implying that if you're just a decent opponent with really good hands and enough raw power, he doesn't even feel confident about using the doors and balls in the real world even if he has infinite cursed energy. So the projectiles barely count as projectiles. It doesn't. The only time you get crazy massive stat amps are after you hit the jackpot. But if you're Hikari's first opponent of the day, it's going to take a minute for him to hit the jackpot. And pretty much every single one of these people beforehand could just prevent Hikari from getting into the jackpot one way or another. And I know it's going to sound crazy, but like, they could just eat Hikari. Actually, no, I'll put Hikari above this. Once again, I don't know. I'm really biased against Shikigami users, I'll admit. But like, Chojuro grabs him in the earth hands and smushes him flat. Now he can't open domain. Uh-oh. Helicopter Man chops off Hikari's hands, or even worse, literally, let's say Hikari does enter jackpot. He goes crazy. He starts dancing. He starts milli rocket on any block. Helicopter Man is just like, okay, flies into the heavens. Hikari can't chase him. It's not like he has the ability to fly. He doesn't have any good projectiles. Even if he throws a door out, he's going to miss. He throws a ball, he's going to miss. So he can't do anything to Helicopter Man technique-wise. Choso could bootleg find a way to fly. Same thing with Kurushi. Rika could just leave, wait out the 4 minutes, 11 seconds. Kashimo, you've literally seen that even when you do have jackpot, it doesn't buff Hikari's. Well, that's a Kashimo versus Hikari thing mostly. But a lightning bolt can still tear straight through Hikari, even in jackpot. Heaven forbid it actually tears straight through his head like it probably should have. Dagon just drown Hikari. What's he going to do? Punch the water? Hikari, okay, you hit Maharaga with a door, it now adapts the door. You hit Maharaga with a ball, it now adapts the ball. You hit Maharaga with your fist, it adapts to fist. Now you're useless. Kenchaku or Geto with Cursed Spirit Manipulation just drowns you in a bunch of Cursed Spirits. You can't punch them all away, and you just don't have a technique anymore. You probably immediately lose your infinite Cursed Energy, and you're just literally never hitting Gojo. Gojo could literally sit there and fall asleep in front of you. That's it. You could make an argument that, but I won't. For the sake of Hikari fans, I won't do that. But yeah, I don't know. Hikari's technique is kind of whack. It has no hacks. It's just, it helps you punch harder, and it gives you pseudo immortality for 4 minutes and 11 seconds. But in comparison to what's above it, I can't really give it all that much. I'm sorry. Maybe once we get more of it explored, if we ever do get more of it explored, if it gets extra abilities or the doors or balls come back with any sort of actual potency or speed, and maybe I can put some more respect on it. But right now, I don't know. Hikari, he ain't no earthbender, bro. He's just not. Flight is really, really good, though. Flight is really, really good. Okay, I'm not gonna be that. Airplane Lady, I'm gonna put her 2 spots lower than her husband. Mainly, I think that's his husband. I think they're married. But I'm gonna put him lower because of the fact that she doesn't have the same flexibility that he does in terms of like the manipulation of the propellers, and her durability just doesn't seem to be that high. Like, she needs to headbutt you, she needs to engage with you directly. Meanwhile, Helicopter Head over there doesn't have to engage with you directly. Though admittedly, she does once again have like perfect stalling tactics. Just fly up. What are you gonna do now? Oh no, you've lost because I've flown up. Like, Flight's just really, really nice. But unfortunately, she just doesn't have any way to directly engage other than a headbutt. And you could say the same thing for Helicopter Man, but he could literally just whip his hair back and forth with his helicopter blades and tear through an entire area and likely cut you up. So I give more credence to this. He actually has some range on him. Meanwhile, she doesn't. She doesn't. But Flight is so good, though. I just really like Flight. Maybe that's my bias that's sneaking out again. You can probably pseudo-fly with one of Drew's Shikigami if you make him big enough. There's some offense and defense to this. So I'll put it above Awasaka. Haruta. Curse technique-wise, it's is it meh? I mean, like, once again, this is like a pure... I'm probably going to put it beneath Claws over here. But above these two. Because at least... I mean, the Shikigami has some offensive needs. I'll put it in top of meh. It is purely a defensive technique. And it's a defensive technique that can run out. Like if you... What, I think the max marks he can have under his eyes is 8? Or it's 4? Haruta. I'm sorry, my computer has decided to begin violently screaming. But hopefully the mystical magical powers of Ed. He looks so ugly in the anime, bro. He just looks ugly in general. Bro, why is everyone so ugly in general? I'm sorry. Let's see. Miracles. This technique, small miracles user experiences throughout everyday life are erased from their memory and stored. Something simple as seeing all the signatures on a clock would count as one of these little miracles. The markings under their eyes show how many miracles the user has. When a miracle has been released, the markings lose their color. These miracles are released when the user's life is in danger, altering their luck to allow them to survive what otherwise would be a fatal injury. Haruto Shigemo is almost completely unaware of how his own technique works. This little everyday miracle is erased from his memory, so the curse user believes he's just extremely lucky. He does recognize to some degree that this technique allows him to survive what would be fatal blows. Against Kento Nanami, Shigemo would have died from the grade 1 sorcerer's first strike. Shigemo recognized this was not the case due to his innate technique. However, all 3 miracles were used up in this fight, leaving Shigemo without enough luck to survive his later encounter with Sukuna. So is it only 3? I think it's at least 6. Shown by little black marks under his eyes. Yeah, I think it literally is only 6. So, yeah. You have 6 chances, if you're lucky enough to actually see these little miracles, you have 6 chances to not die. What if your opponent hits you 7 times? Like I'm sorry, like you just don't, there's nothing absolutely insane about Haruto's technique. It's a purely defensive technique that does absolutely nothing for him. At least Claws helps you attack a little better. At least Kusakabe is defensive and lets you attack a little better. At least this is offensive and defensive. At least you have extra limbs. This literally does nothing for you except make you a little bit more tanky. But even then, it's not like the damage gets negated or healed. You just live a fatal injury. So you're still dealing with the after effects of it. So yeah, Haruto's miracles is kind of whack. But where do I have Higuruma's technique is weird. It's weird. If you know your court, Higuruma's technique can be rendered useless. Like, but let's say 9 out, because like Higuruma's a really, really good lawyer. So presumably 9 out of 10 times you're gonna at least get confiscation. And the ability to take away your opponent's curse, you know, how fast can you open domain though? But the domain neutralizes violence too. The only issue, you know what? I'll be real. Because if he opens domain, does it work on Cursed Spirit? The question is, if it works, we'll be generous to Higuruma. We'll assume that his domain works on Cursed Spirits. And if it does, the ability to neutralize all violence, I think if Higuruma opens domain, which is his round star move, he always goes for domain, he's usually going to convict you in the court case, and then it's just like you without your cursed technique and very little control over your cursed energy versus Higuruma who has his cursed technique, and depending on the severity of the crime he's convicted you for, either a one-shot contact technique and or a hammer. Which is nice enough, but like it's a hammer. So if you yourself without your cursed energy control or like messy control your cursed energy no technique are grade 1 level, then you can put up a fight like Yuji did. But most people aren't Yuji. Like even characters, like I'd say without cursed energy, Yuji's stronger than Akari, Chojuro, Helicopter Man, Choso. Like take away a lot of these characters' cursed energy and they probably don't do all too well, I'd say. You could even make an argument that since Higuruma opens domain in character very, very quickly, you could make an argument like, if a curse can't control their cursed energy that well, do they like dissipate? Like they're made of cursed energy. I don't know. Deadly Sentence is really, really good though. I'll put it at the bottom of Divine for now. I'll just say that every person with a domain above it can probably beat it. And Cursed Spirit Manipulation's diversity may even stop Higuruma from ever being able to open domain, because they can just open up with spam or counter domain. The thing is, does opening a domain count as an act of violence? If it does, then... If it doesn't, because then Dagon could just open domain. Maharaga would just adapt to the technique. The one-shot sword may work, because it's supposed to one-shot anybody it cuts. So maybe that. I don't know. You could make a... Because you always open with domain, right? But you don't have any projectiles. You can't fly. You essentially have to hope you can convict your opponent. But since Higuruma's such a... Am I really going to put him up? You know what? I'm going to slide him up to Divine. Not to Divine, Peak of the Verse. Because, like, since you're not... At least if you're against Higuruma, I feel like you could even give it to someone like me. And, like, I could probably convict somebody since I have, like, a cheat. Like, I know the evidence. And most people just aren't prepared for a court case. Like, not everybody's a lawyer. And Higuruma's a trained lawyer. So 9 times out of 10, if he opens domain, if he doesn't get speed blitzed in the first second, he opens domain, there's no more violence. If domains get locked off, considering they're an act of violence, and he convicts you, you lose control of your cursed energy. And you lose your cursed technique through confiscation, and he gets an ability, and he gets to keep his cursed energy. And if you play really, really bad, you get cursed. You get death penalty plus confiscation. I mean, you can't control your cursed energy. You don't have a technique. And he has a one-shot sword. Like, I think Higuruma's kind of cracked. I don't know. I'll put him there. It's still not good as turning off a technique, though. And it's a beam of light, so it's probably quicker than Higuruma. And Gojo's Gojo. Teleportation. Teleport out of the range of the domain as it opens. So... I may come to regret this. I feel like this tier list is going to be... I can't wait to see your comments on this one. If any of y'all made it this far. I've already been recording for 1:15. And am I even halfway done? I'm not even halfway done. Well, what is this video going to be? Oh, let's see. Mijichi. I mean, barriers are nice. Curtains are nice. But do curtains really do anything? I'm going to put him at the bottom of meh. I'll keep him out of whack because he actually has an ability, but Mijichi, whatever. Hazanoki, I mean, not normally if you don't have RCT, this ability's kind of whack. We'll put it there. Mainly because, like, can he beat Helicopter Man? To leave good, you got to be able to be better than Helicopter Man. But the ability to launch explosives from your body parts is really, really good. But if you don't have RCT, if you can't regen, that's kind of whack because then you're destroying your body parts. And, like, these explosions aren't actually that damaging. Like, Megami is able to face tank some of them, like, directly. Like, they hit him dead in the face, and he's able to respond just fine, like, with no issue at all. Well, I mean, sure, he still takes damage from it, but, like, he doesn't suffer massively from the hits. So I'm not exactly sure if I can really give too much credence to detonating body parts. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to leave it at the bottom of Helicopter Man. It doesn't have much utility. You're going to be consistently damaging yourself. And if your opponent's fast enough to avoid the explosions or avoid whatever you throw at them, unless you're willing to detonate on yourself, you're just going to keep wearing yourself down. This is a technique, because you're already spending cursed energy to make your body parts explosive, but then you're burning RCT, a very cursed energy inefficient thing to do in order to heal yourself off so you can keep throwing body parts. So yeah, I think ultimately it's gonna stay there. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Usahime? I mean, doubling one's cursed energy output is nice, but considering it does apparently require some sort of ritual most of the time, even with her efficiency of it, we haven't seen the more efficient version, and for the sake of it, I just hate looking at Kusakabe. Since I like Usahime, I'm going to put her in the middle of okay. And once again, it just doesn't seem to have any direct offensive capabilities. And, like, by the time you go to activate the technique, your opponent's likely already punched you in the mouth. Or hit you with a sound wave. Or punched you in the mouth 4 times. Like, I don't know. I don't think Usahime's technique is, like, uber crazy, in my opinion. Junichi, I mean, he got Big Fist. Is Big Fist the Great? He got Big Fist. What is it actually called? Let me look at what is this called? Shinichi, show yourself to me. I know Nobuki's in it. Nobuaki? Is it Nobuaki or Nobuki? I think it's Nobuaki. But let me see. Junichi Zenin. What are your abilities? Missile Fist. Junichi possessed a highly destructive technique that could conjure giant fists propelled by cursed energy like a missile. These massive fists accompanied with Junichi's own physical punches, capable of forming at least 7 fists at once, each one being large and powerful enough to easily crush a building. That's better than Helicopter Man. All right. It's not a one-shot technique, though, like Kashimo's bolts, and it's not teleportation with punches. I'll put it at the bottom of great. I do think you get more versatility and viability in all of these techniques, and some of these techniques are just stronger. But, like, if he wasn't facing Maki, massive building crushing fists is kind of crazy. Like, especially since they can be used directly as projectiles, you could probably hit the flying people. Like, if they try to get close, just swing your fist. You never actually have to engage with your opponent. They can be used as offensive attacks and defensive walls. I think Mr. Big Fist over here is actually kind of crazy. Shouts to Junichi, bro. Well, obviously not shouts to Junichi, because he's 6 feet under. But he probably never got a burial. He did not get buried. But yeah, I'd have to admit, that's pretty solid. That's a pretty solid ability. It just doesn't match the versatility of all of these. Can you fly on Big Fist? I'm not sure if you can fly on Big Fist. But let's see. It's Dagon, but worse. Like, legitimately, it's just Dagon, but worse. Like, with Dagon, he would drown you in water. Maybe you can swim in it. Jogo, he drowns you in lava. In fire. You aren't going to be able to breathe, and you'll likely be burning alive. Yeah. Literally take everything I said about Dagon and just apply it to Jogo, but make it worse. Literally just make it worse, because you're just on fire. Like, it's literally Dagon, but on fire. You get the same flexibility and versatility of manipulating lava. You get even more destructive attacks with fire plumes. You have sound-based attacks with the bugs. You have a presumably stronger and more complete domain with the Great Coffin of the Iron Mountain that most people, if they were just inside of, would burn alive in. Yeah, like, Jogo's just, his technique, Disaster Flames, is disgusting. Like, the only reason it's kind of whack is because he doesn't get to use it against anybody that's not, like, already injured. But, like, 9 out of 10 times, this is a divine technique. You get to manipulate the terrain, and you get to turn the terrain essentially into a walking, not talking death field. Shock horror, that's really, really good. Most people would rather not go into a walking, talking death field. Or walking, not talking death field. Like, yeah, that's crazy. Like, I feel like Jogo is unironically super duper simple to talk about, because his technique isn't that complex. It's just fire and lava. Oh no, it's gonna do a lot of damage. Shock horror. Speaking of another one that's going to do a lot of damage. Did I put it above or below Dagon? I think the versatility, but then again, we don't know. You know what? I'm going to put him below Dagon because we don't know his domain. But Hanami is also really, really good. Disaster Plants is crazy. Sure, unlike the other two, your plants aren't actually real. Like, Dagon makes water. Jogo makes lava. But Hanami's plants are like plant constructs, which realistically aren't the best things out there, but the versatility and the viability of the technique is still crazy. Like, being able to reduce, actually, you know what? I'll put it above, because we know he does have a domain, presumably a sure hit domain. Whatever it was, I don't know. But he has the cursed energy absorbing bugs. Not bugs, or buds, that'll, like, slurp up all that juicy curse out right up on out of you, right after they pierce you. His ability to absolutely manipulate, I'm sorry, my arm is falling asleep, so I'm trying to wake it up. But he has the ability to absolutely casually manipulate the entire terrain around you by creating and instantly disappearing massive forest worth of energy. He just has a big old dumb, thank you. He has just a big old dumb laser blast that can just wipe out anything around you if it really feels like it. He also has the ability to create different constructs of various sizes and shapes that can either pierce you, that can restrain you, that can cut you up. Only thing is, you can't drown, but you can likely suffocate. Like, hold on, let me look up. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything with Disaster Plants, because Disaster Plants, it's pretty cracked. Don't sleep on the plants of disaster. Like, I just thought of Jogo's Disaster Flames. So, like, the Flames of Disaster from Sonic 06? No, but Disaster Plants. Let me look that bad boy up. Whew. Oh, my eye itching. Yeah, roots, he can create gigantic roots, wooden ball, Singer multiple ball from cursed energy. Yeah, so you can actually, like, perform pseudo flight by using wooden ball, just by creating them and standing on them. Cursed bud that slurps up your cursed energy, and flower field that just takes away their desire to fight. You can just you can essentially just make your opponent say, hey, You don't really want this, right? And it can even work on someone like Satoru Gojo, who's, well, admittedly, I think the reason it worked on Gojo well enough is because his technique was shut down post-domain. But even still, that it can work on him at all. That's crazy. So Hanami is really, really good. That technique is really, really fire. I really like the construct manipulation, though. That's the good thing. That's the extra special sauce that comes from it. True form Mahito. There's regular Mahito. We'll talk about auto transfiguration there, but true form Mahito. You don't have projectile. Like, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, no. Oh, no. All true form Mahito gets is a doubling of his defense stat. He loses the flexibility of transformation from idle transfiguration. And I guess he still has his idle transfiguration in hand, so he can still use that. But, like, if we're just talking about what true form Mahito does, it's not anything impressive. And he has elbow blades. Elbow blades. Like, that's not going to do much. I'm sorry, it's just not enough. There's nothing crazy enough about true form Mahito. It doesn't give him any extra hacks or special abilities or anything like that. And it's whack. I'm sorry. I feel like true form Mahito is kind of underwhelming, but that may be my own personal opinion, popping up and kind of slowing me down. But speaking of, let me show you the actual strongest technique in the verse. Do you remember Junpei's technique? Tell me. Tell me. Do you remember Junpei's technique? Well, let me tell you. I did not remember Junpei's technique. That's why I looked it up. And it's just a floating jellyfish. It's moon dregs. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's nice enough. Like, it's a toxic jellyfish. Yeah. You can probably fly on it. I really like flight. We'll put it here. It has offensive and defensive utility, so we'll put it right there. It has range, it has stuff like that, but I'm not sure. Moondrex isn't anything too crazy, and the poison isn't automatically effective as it could be. So I don't know. I'll leave Junpei down here. You can just punch. Once again, you can just ignore the Shikigami and go to Junpei. The only reason it's so effective in the early series is because he's usually on people who can't see curses. But if you can perceive curses, just ignore Moondrex and go punch Junpei in the mouth. You win. What did what was his ability? I don't even remember his ability. Kakuganji-san. I'm going to use you as a key to this guy. Does he even have an ability? I know he liked to make coat racks. Gaku-Ganji. It's going to be like his only fight, except for him against Masamichi. Yodo Goodwill. Maki. Juzo. There we go. Ooh, world's ugly in the anime and the manga. Everybody's ugly. I know it's a bit of the pot calling the kettle black here, but everything's ugly. High curse energy. Okay. Barrier techniques. Okay. He's just a dude. He's just a dude. He can use barrier techniques. He's not as good as Ijichi though, so we're gonna leave him down here. He's whack. The body hopping technique. Is Itadori's mom on here? Oh, I don't see her. So I guess we gotta use Kenjaku. Oh, no. I mean, I'll show both ratings. You know what? We'll say Riko is Itadori's mom. So we'll save the gravity technique discussion for her. But Kenjaku's body hopping technique. It's it's good, but it's not good in of itself. Like, it just gives you like pseudo immortality by hopping bodies. If I just give that to you right now, like if I just give you the ability to hop bodies, like, okay, now you can transfer your brain into other people and take them over. Now fight me. Oh wait, no. now fight me. Like, yeah, I'm gonna beat you over there with a keyblade. The technique's not gonna do anything for you in combat. Like, it's good as a utility technique for long range, but like, how are you going to beat the keyblade with your fat brain? Like, I don't know. I don't think I just don't think you'll be able to. So ultimately, I can't really give Kenjaku's body snatcher technique the most credit in the universe. I'm sorry. It's not that crazy in of itself. It's nice that it allows you to copy over previous techniques from previous bodies you've held. But like, once again, if you're just starting with the technique itself, you don't get anything. You just get pseudo immortality, which is nice, but in a fight, it's not doing anything. Like, you could argue it's like down here. Like, in fact, I'll even put it here. I'll put it in meh towards the bottom. It's like, sure, it's not a barrier technique, but like, what does it do for you in a fight? At least with this, you get a Shikigami. At least with this, you can survive multiple fatal blows. At least with this, you can stop current existing wounds. What does this do for you in a fight? Nothing. I know it sounds weird, putting the main villain's ultimate technique 5th worst, but like, yeah, it'd be like that when it'd be like that sometimes. Kirara, purely a defensive technique. I'll put it beneath Amasaka. Kirara. The star technique is super weird. Don't get me wrong, but like, let me double check. Kirara. No. Please. Kirara. Hoshi. Wiki guide me to her technique this instant. To their technique? Was that a mistranslation? Do we ever get that confirmed? Male. To his technique. So the person whatever. I've heard multiple things about that, but Love Rendezvous is Kirara Hoshi's innate technique. It allows them to mark curse energy with a star from the Southern Cross. In order to simply mark stars approach each other, must follow their term root target. Star will attract it. Love Rendezvous. Oh, okay, all this complicated nonsense. I just want to know: do you have to touch them? If you get in contact with them, is relatively complex, making it difficult for people to decide what's happening when they first encounter it. Kirara first showcased Love Rendezvous by using it to protect the monitor room door. He couldn't reduce the distance of the door as he walked around. Grant the feeling of Sato goes to infinity. Going scuffle with Mega Man. Okay, yeah. So the big issue is that Kirara needs to eat the first hit. He needs to eat the first hit. I'm gonna call him that. I'm gonna call him that because I'm still not sure if everything's confirmed about that. But Kirara needs to eat the first hit. Unlike Awasaka, who will pretty much 9 out of 10 times always eat the first hit. If they can eat the first hit, you're never touching them again. Like, legit, I think it's not impossible to ever touch them again. But without that, I think, since it's a purely defensive technique, no offensive utility at all, I'm going to put it right there. Mechamaru. Puppet Nimi. Honestly, at its upper limits, if you assume that he can control a bunch of Mechamarus all at once, which I think he can. He starts to show it when he first starts to fight the battle with Mahito. One of those things individually is actually pretty decently powerful. If he control all those at once, plus the main one, the Giga one, he's actually really, really up there. I think he does lose to people like this because they just have like proper domains, and or can spam him, and or can adapt to everything he does, and or can prevent him from ever actually fighting, and or can just erase his technique, and or is Gojo. But I think I'll put this at the top of... Yeah, I'll put it at the top. But then again, this is like a one-shot. But you need to get hit. You need to get hit, or you need to be able to hit your opponent. And for someone like Mechamaru never actually has to fight you. Like, I know I usually give flack to Shikigami technique users, but like, I usually give flack to Shikigami technique users. So why am I giving a pass to this? Because Ultimate Mechamaru is really, really big. It is really, really big, and it can be a protective wall. And I think the fact that he can let them get destroyed with no problem at all, sure, it requires from prep time, but I think ultimately that's a lot more viable than anything that any of these guys have to offer, which requires hits or stuff like that. He can literally just line up a bunch of Mechamaros and cause them to blast out a bunch of curse energy, which can wipe out massive chunks of the environment. So, Kokichi, you pretty heat. You pretty heat. The innate technique of this is kind of weird. I'm not exactly sure how it works. You answer the question wrong, you get cut. What if I just punch it in the mouth? Like, this is a question of, what if I just hit you in the mouth? I don't know. It automatically opens with innate domain, but I'm not sure if it really does anything that can't be like, I'll put it at the bottom of good because it has an innate domain. But I'm pretty sure every single one of the people here could actually hit it or just stall and not directly engage with it. Like, there's probably some way to deal with something like this. The lack of information was going to have me putting it at the bottom of good. The Bombastic Bagman. I put it up. How mad would people be if I put Bombastic Bagman above Hikari? Cloning is really, really good when you can control all the clones, and you can also substitute yourself out for the clones whenever you get hit. You get the offensive utility of consistently jumping people, which is really, really nice, and you get the defensive utility of if you ever actually take lethal damage. No, you didn't. It was one of your clones. So I do think clone technique is really, really good. The main issue is that, like, if you clone in front of your opponent, like something like this, he's just going to clap all of you together, and then you will not be able to substitute. I mean, you could always, like, pretend. You could, like, prep time it and say, oh, I always have a clone at home. We never get to see the upper limits of the cloning technique's range. So I have a clone at home always, so you can always just substitute with that. Or you could just always be at home and send your clones out to do the dirty work. So in that case, you could slide it higher, but for now, I think just cloning in a fight is really, really solid, because it's Jujutsu Kaisen. You always want to be able to jump. Please, computer, stop screaming. I beg of you. I beg of you, please. And then the Bombastic Bagman will not get through the earth. He will not get through being exploded. And he will not get through being chopped up by Helicopter Man. So unfortunately, you gotta stay down here, Bombastic. But let's see. Who is that? I don't even remember. What? It's one of Ghetto's family members, right? Did he even have an ability? Ghetto? Family? Let me see. Computer, please, I'm begging you, stop screaming. For the sake of me and my people, please. Stop yelling. Please. I beg of you. Oh, yeah, he had hearts on his chest. Ugh. Who are they, Ghetto? Who are they? Who are they, Ghetto, please? Show me the truth, Ghetto. Show me their abilities. Ghetto? Okay. He is so irrelevant, and since I can't immediately find him on the wiki, I'm going to give myself 5 more seconds to see if I can actually find this man. Because I legit do not remember him doing a single thing other than looking a little bit confusing. So let me see. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He's now the worst character on the list. I have no idea. He may have the most busted technique in the entire series, but I legit do not remember this man doing anything. Shout out to the creator of the tier list for actually including him at all. Let's see. Mahito. Hi ho. I'm immortal. My name's Kermit, and you can never hope to get rid of me. I will taste the rainbow, whether you like it or not. I will make your tongue able to taste light. Like, legitimately. like his technique is way too good. Way too... Oh, my word. His technique is crazy. Idle Transfiguration is... It's so hard to describe how cracked it is. 1, you get unlimited flexibility of yourself. You can control the shape and contours of your own soul, so your soul can kind of just do whatever. You want your soul to do one thing, it can do it. You want your soul to do another thing, it can do it. You can make yourself fly. You can turn yourself into a fish. You can turn yourself into a bird. Anything. Flying and bird, same thing. But still, you can turn yourself into spikes at will, by the way. You don't even have to actually, I'm not going to say your self-touch backwards. You don't even have to do that. You just do it on command. That's crazy. You just touch people. It sounds so bad. But you do. You just grab a hold of people, and if their name isn't Itadori Yuji, specifically with Ryomen Sukuna inside them, you're probably going to do a little bit of damage. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Even if it takes multiple taps, Mahito's pseudo-immortality is so good that all he really needs is a couple taps. One good grab, and he can just try and detonate you. He can just try and rip you apart. It's nigh on a one-shot technique. It's not in reality a one-shot technique. I know that. In fact, I argue that in a lot of Mahito matchups. I don't think he's able to tear apart many people at the end of this. I don't think he can one-tap, two-tap, or even three-tap any of the top 10. Yeah, I don't think so. He may not be able to two-tap, one-tap, or three-tap any the top 13. That's how lackluster I think his one-tapping ability is. But still, his versatility that can lead into the one-tap ability is wild. And the fact that he has wild transfigured humans at all times that he can casually just throw out and mess with you with. That's just really, really good. And also he has a domain that automatically touches you in all the places you don't want to be touched. Meaning you automatically lose if he opens the domain. For the most part. There's some people who can counteract it and some people who can tank it. But even the 0.2, and the thing is, with the 0.2 second domain, 9 out of 10 times, you're going to lose a limb. If you lose a limb, unless your name's Yuta, or Akari in Jackpot specifically, or maybe Gojo or Sukuna, you aren't getting that limb back. So even just a 0.2 second domain is crazy enough. But the only reason he did a 0.2 second domain instead of just holding it open for long, because remember, the domain duration is what the 0.2 second is, not how long it takes for him to activate it. The domain duration, if he's able to do that much damage in 0.2 seconds, imagine what he could do in a whole second. Or, heaven forbid, a minute. Legitimately, you could just tear you apart. Mahito, Idle Transfiguration. Through the roof crack. Speaking of things that could be through the roof crack that aren't, specifically Mai's level of creation is so booty water. It is such booty meat. It is pure thick booty. Like straight up. One Splagacker a day. Not even a whole Splagacker. One thing that goes in a Splagacker a day. Whack. Even, you know what's bad? You know what's bad when I'm saying it's even worse than Claw Man. If you're worse than Claw Man, something has gone wrong. Something has drastically, there has been error. Error has been made if you're worse than Claw Man. But that's unfortunately how it has got to be for Mai's creation. But this isn't actually Maki. Fun fact. This is the Soul Split Katana. In the Soul Split Katana, if able to be used properly by the wielder, bottom of divine. I say bottom of divine. The ability to just ignore your opponent's attack. No, ignore your opponent's durability. Literally, if Maki hits you with Soul Split Katana and your name isn't Gojo, because you can't get hit by Soul Split Katana because of the neutral limitless, you lose. And if your name isn't Maharaga, who could likely regen through it. But just slash somebody up a whole bunch and they're done. Their durability is ignored. That is just way too good. Way too good. Is it better than any of these? No. They all have domain. They could adapt. They could spam. So there are things that are better than Soul Split Katana, but Soul Split Katana is still Soul Split Katana. Chef's kiss, too beautiful. Who? Don't remember her ability either. I don't like the hearts on his chest. I'll put him at the bottom. Masamichi Yaga. Puppet creation? If he's caught lacking, he's worthless. I'm gonna put him at meh. Actually, you made Panda. What did I do? What did I just do? Oh, Lord, no. No. I have become error. I have become error. I wiped them out. I slayed them. I slayed them all. Where are they? They're gone. They're literally all gone. Is there any way I can undo? There's no way I can undo. I mean, they were whack anyway, but like, okay, let me throw everybody back in whack real quick. Sorry, I did not mean to do that. Whack. But since you thought it'd be funny to make Panda, I can't even see. I'm so disappointed. I can't even spell garbage. Whack, beyond whack, booty meat tier. But yeah, let me throw everyone in whack real quick, so I have a nice comprehensive tier. Actually, should I make? What do I make Dido then? If I don't, yeah, I'll come back to that in a second. Whack, 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 whack. Anyone else want to get whackified? That sounds very, very wrong. But I think everyone else has already been whackified. If I miss somebody, I'll run into them eventually. But Esso, just lower than his brother. I think actually no, this is Esso. Ketchizu, lower than his brother. Let me change the colors of these. Now I'm disappointed. I jacked up. Yeah. None of these colors are gonna look nice. I'm just gonna. You're just whack. You're so bad. I don't even want to read you. You're just garbage. Mechamaru, we'll use Mechamaru as a stand-in for Heavenly Restriction as a whole. Just sheer crazy physical abilities. Yeah, it's divine. You can like hop on air and stuff. Remember, this is the representation of Heavenly Restriction. Actually, you know what? No, we'll use what we'll do is we'll use Kokichi Muda as the representative of Heavenly Restriction in of itself, and we'll use Mega Mechamaru. Where is he? We'll use Mega Mechamaru as representation for puppet manipulation in general. So there you go. We'll do that. But yeah, Heavenly Restriction is really, really cracked. Insane physical abilities. Insane amounts of cursed energy. Of course, you get the whack body, but like, yeah. I'd say, if just going on what Maki and Toji have, chef's kiss. Fantastic ability. Like, just crazy physicality. It's just not good enough because domains. But like, most of the time, you could just grab your opponent. Maybe not Kashima, but you could grab your opponent and just throw them somewhere. Or match them blow for blow and literally anything. You're just a superior human. That's just crazy. Stronger than most with cursed spirit stronger than most with cursed energy manipulation at all, except for like freak exceptions like this man over here. Then we have Megami. How do I feel about 10 Shadows? How do I feel about 10 Shadows? How do we feel about the 10 Shadows? I was messing with y'all when I said 10 Shadows is a bad technique. For the most part, I do actually, like, I believe a majority of the stuff I said in that video. Like, I do actually believe that, but I don't think it's bad. I said that too. I'm an hour and 46 minutes in. If you're still here, I said that to mess with y'all. I said to mess with y'all and see how many clicks that would get. You know? Okay, I gotta hurry up. I only got 20% left on my phone battery. But, yeah, 10 Shadows. I mean, it's, assuming we're just talking about the shadow technique itself as a whole, without regards to the limitations of the technique, by its user, we're talking Sukuna, you get the completed Chimera Shadow Garden. Yeah, it's probably, it's up there. It's up there. Just infinite Maharagas. Infinite Maharagas. If we're specifically going by how Megami uses it, or the level Megami can use it at, what's his best Shikigami? What, Divine Dog? It's whack. But we aren't talking about that. We're talking about the 10 Shadows technique itself, not the user of it. So 10 Shadows technique is literally going to go right here. It's way too cracked. It's still not as good as the Limitless plus the 6-eye, so that's still another level of crazy. Mechamaru, we aren't going to talk about Mechamaru. We already covered him. Blackbird technique, good enough. Good enough. I'll put it right here. No, because it has the Bird Strike. Bird Strike's really, really good. I'll put it above, but beneath. Actually, not. We'll slide it right here. Actually, no, we'll put, because Bird Strike is really, really good. I'll put it beneath the Earthbender. The reason I put so much stock in Black Bird Manipulation is mainly because of Bird Strike, and also the utility you get from being able to see through all of the eyes of the crows. That is really, really nice. That sort of like 6 Paths of Pain effect, that kind of battlefield utility is really, really nice. It's just that you do need black birds, which is unfortunate. You may not have those on hand. So that's the one weakness of it. But other than that, really, really solid. Miguel, we'll just say the Black Rope. It's not as good as Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder is a massive AoE light attack. But if Miguel hits you with the Black Rope, your technique is disrupted. Real good. Peak of the verse. Like turning off someone else's technique by just hitting them once. Fantastic. It can even work on things like the Infinity. That's good. Did we ever find out her technique? I don't think so. Ghetto's Daughters? Did we ever? I'm not sure if we ever did find out. Did we ever, Broski, did we ever find out your technique? What is your technique? You don't have one, do you? Allows her to, hold her targets in the air using, no. Well, the exact mechanics of how it works is unknown. Mimiko's technique involves the use of both rope and her stuffed toy that she carries with her. Oh, okay. So, I mean, the ability to get people to cease the living through some sort of like voodoo-esque technique. It's nice enough-ish, I guess. It's cool enough. I'd say it's probably... I'll just punch you. We'll put it at the bottom of good, because you can just get punched. Like, worst comes to worst, you can just get punched. No defensive, no offensive. You're gonna... Well, all offensive, really. No defensive. I think you can definitely just get punched. Let's see. What is her sister? Oh, her sister isn't brought up yet. Well, it's right there. We'll cover her. Manipulate the photograph subject that she captured in the image using the camera on her cell phone. She wants on herself to move from one area to another, but the process tired her out quickly. So, yeah. You need a cell phone? I will break your cell phone. Put it at the bottom of good. The ability to dodge certain attacks is nice. The maid, I'm not going to look up her technique. I don't even remember it. Miwa, literally just worse Kusakabe. I'm not even going to play into like the Lord Miwa meme stuff here, just worse Kusakabe. Momo, I'm gonna speed through these now because like these are randoms. I'm sorry. Tool manipulation, it's all right. I mean, flight. I'm gonna put it here because flight is nice and the wind scythe is cool. I do like that. Donami, the ratio technique is good, but like I'll put it above Hikari in here because the critical hit factor is nice. But like if someone can like Dagon can just face tank it or arm tank it, no problem. I feel like it's not too crazy. Projection sorcery. Right beneath Heaven. This is Heavenly Restrict. Right up here. Projection sorcery is stupid. The ability to not only move at easily subsonic speeds while building up speed, but also the ability to make sure your opponent freezes for 1 whole second if you touch them with your palm and they need to move by the 24 frame technique, which they don't even know about. That's crazy. The ability to speed blitz and punch them and punch them and punch them. I won't put it where it could go if you put it even higher with a certain someone, because we're going to get to them in a second. But even Naobito's variation of it, shoot a bit crack. The only thing it lacks is direct AP, but 9 out of 10 times it's just way too good. Naoya, do we have Chris Naoya on here? Same thing for Naoya, just lesser than his father. Naobito's known as the second fastest, not Naoya, so we'll just put him right up there. Don't remember this guy's technique because I don't think he ever got to show it, so we'll put him in whack. I'm going to keep putting you at the bottom. Nobara, the Straw Doll technique is good, but it's so reliant on her getting a piece of her opponent, except for the nails. The nails can be used as a decent projectile. So, like, I'll put it above Junpei. But once again, if your opponent just avoids the nails, you're good. you can pretty much take a guess on what's gonna happen. Literally just worse Choso, but massively worse Choso, to the point where I'll just put them above the brothers. The Seance technique, it really depends. Who do you have? If you have nobody, it's whack. Flaming Sword. I mean, where's Kusakabe? It's just a flaming sword. I mean, it's nice, but it's not anything too crazy. I think this man was part of the Kukuru unit, so he doesn't even have a technique. Nah, I'm keeping you at the bottom. Panda? Paralysis through eye contact, I think. Solid enough, but it doesn't seem like the opponent takes any damage. They're just held in place. So we'll put it right. I'll put it beneath here because the defensive utility, you can burn your eyes out if you can't hold your opponent that long. That's not that good, but it can kind of just hard para anyone beneath them. Reggie, actually pretty good. I'm actually gonna put his technique. I'm gonna put Reggie's technique up in great. Contract recreation is really good. The fact that you can just drop a house on somebody is nice. Like just and the thing is, I don't even think they have to be your own receipts you recreate. I think they can be anyone's. So just like grab receipts from someone who bought a building recently. You can go create. But I guess that's the thing. It's very prep time reliant. But assuming you have as many receipts as Reggie does, and you avoid the avoiding water part. The avoiding water part. I'll put it right here. I'll put him above Hazanoki, but below the Helicopter Man. Because I love Helicopter Man being top of good. Spiky hair. I'll put him above people who have no... I'll put her above Kenchaku. Well, at least she has an offensive technique. He doesn't. So we'll put her there. Rico. Is Tengen on this list? Tengen's on this list. I'm not gonna look up his curse technique. I don't care enough. Ryu. I'm gonna put it. Where do I put it? It's good, and it has range that does not damage you. I'll even put Hazanoki beneath Chojuro. I'll put Hazanoki beneath Mei too. Put Hazanoki beneath. I'm going to slide Hazanoki down a lot. But I think it's because of the self-damaging stuff. That's really, really whack. I'm going to slide Hazanoki down a whole lot. He can't even fly. Yeah, bro, you whack. I'm going to put him down here. I'll even put him below Nobara. I'll put him above Junpei's Moontrax now. But yeah, Ryu, really, really good technique. The only thing is, it's super duper simple. Like, I blast you real good. Not as cool as dropping a house on somebody. Shoko, literally just RCT. And presumably... I mean, self-healing is nice, but it's not anything crazy. I mean, I'll put it in bottom of meh, because it's self-healing. Smallpox Deity. Good. Solid enough domain. The 1, 2, 3 with the rock. Nice enough. But most people can probably just tank. Oh, well, no. The thing with the rock is that, well, if you can just punch out of it, you're good. I'd say it's decent enough because of domain. I'll put it above that. We already covered Curse Spirit Manipulation. Sakuna. Shrine is stupid. Like, little gym, like, Shrine is just dumb. Like, I don't care that it can't beat Gojo. Nothing can beat Gojo. The fact that, well, obviously, you know, maybe 10 Shadows, its full potential can beat Gojo. But Shrine is dumb. Malevolent Shrine solos everything beneath it. Like, legitimately. So it's a barrierless domain that adjusts to your curse energy. Unless your name is literally Satoru Gojo, you perish. Shrine is crap. Takaba. He could either be all the way up here, unironically, because he's the one that's actually capable of combating Satoru Gojo with Comedian, or he could be all the way down here. Because he'll never actually defeat his opponent, because he doesn't believe in, like, real proper violence. Since I will give him this, since he's literally just immortal, because, death wouldn't be funny, I'll put him above Gojo. Because Gojo literally just couldn't kill him. I mean, domains. Ooh, domains. He has no domain counters. So his technique gets shut down. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. We'll put him at the bottom of Divine. You don't have a domain. You don't have, domains. Domain's kind of hard counter the comedian. I'll put him here, because none of these characters have domain. But domain, if completed, domain. And may be able to adapt with Maharaga. Turn off technique, domain, turn off technique. Likely multiple domains? Maybe. I may need to slide him down. Crystal Manipulation doesn't have a domain. I'm going to slide him down a lot. Slide him here. But will adapt eventually. Domain. No domain. So we'll leave it like that. Auspicious Beast Summoning. I'll put it at the top of okay. Nice enough ability. Projectile. Solid balance. We have no idea what this thing does. Tennigan, Immortality. Same thing as Kenjaku, but slightly better because of evolution. But once again, you are immortal through longevity, not actual immortality. Toto, Boogie Woogie. Good, purely a utility technique, though. It doesn't... I'll put it... Ironically enough, I think I gotta put it... Once again, it's a pure utility-esque technique. In fact, I may need to slide... I'll put them at the bottom of good, because these are pure utility techniques. Teleportation is nice, but unless you can do anything with it, it's not really the best. Do I lower Rika down? No, because Rika's teleportation is free form and she punches really hard. Toto, Curse Speech can be fantastic. I'll put it at the bottom of... I'll put it right here, right above Junichi. Because Curse Speech, when caught off guard or you don't know what's coming, fantastic. But if you know what's coming, reinforce your ears, you're good. Heavenly Restriction, aka Inverted Spear of Heaven. Hey, fun fact, did you know that turning off other people's techniques is really, really good? Want to know how good? Do you really want to? That good. Like, legitimately, Inverted Spear of Heaven is crazy. I think he has teleportation. But the limitations and specificity of it is unknown, so I'll put it right here. Ume. No domain, so she'll go beneath the disaster curses. But, and Takuba. But their ice technique is cracked. It is literally just cracked. It's able to tag heavily restricted Maki Zenin. Wild. Sky Manipulation. Another Buku Bonkers technique. I'm going to put it all the way... It has a domain. You don't know the specifics of the domain, though. And it can be overwhelmed. It can very likely be overwhelmed. But Sky Manipulation, Flight, Space Manipulation, Duraneg through Thin Icebreaker. I'm going to slide it right here. It's really, really good. We already talked about Gojo. Yuji, no technique. I mean, we can talk about Divergent Fist. It is offensive, but it's not special. Yuki Tsukumo, Star Rage. Offensive concept negation? And pretty much a one-shot? If it gave her extra durability, it'd be higher, but I'm going to put it... but it has domain, and it has the maximum black hole. Even though it's a double KO, because she can literally open a black hole on you. I'll put it right here. It's really, really good. Yudo Kotsu. I'm going strictly off potential here and what we know of copy. It is literally all these techniques. It's very, very good. Future Sight through Stabilicious. If you can't hit your opponent, you can't do anything. So kind of a worthless technique. And if your opponent's just fast, then they can speed up. Dido. Chad Dido can hit you. Lewis puts his sword skills up that high. Kirsten, oh yeah. His domain is one of the most broken domains in the series. And he's super duper fast. It literally goes right here. Because he also has flight through his cursed spirit manipulation, but that may just be due to his nature as a cursed spirit now, but still. Super duper crazy. Crack domain. And Sumo Man does sumo. Doesn't do much. But there we go. I'm sorry, I sped up a lot towards the end because, one, my voice is getting tired and I'm out of water. And two, because I do plan to make more in-depth talks on a lot of these techniques. Like, literally everything in Peak of the Verse, except for, like, Miguel and Inverted Spear of Heaven, is getting its own video eventually. And a lot of these are getting their own videos. Like, I'm going to talk more in depth about a lot, but this is my general tier list. Ordered, by the way. I think this is just generally in order. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys have similar lists? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure the notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support for as low as $1 a month. You things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, thank you guys so much for watching once again, and hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a very big thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays and Red Wolf 4765. I'd like to give another very big thank you to our $5 patrons, Alex Ice Rose, Art Goon, DemXLND, Midnight Gemlord, Red Wolf 4765, and Sean. I'd like to give another very big thank you to our $10 patrons, Demokami, Joaquin, and Robbie Uchiha. I'd like to give another gargantuan thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose.